Traveling, meeting people is my passion since I don't remember, but in 2021, during the pandemic, I was helping a chef and a friend, Massimo Piedimonte. There, I met Tommy, Le Cuisinomane. Couples of months after, Tommy told me he was about to go to Italy, and he will meet me there. Passion for food brought us together, and we met in an historical Acetaia. And from that moment, I was really back to my origins. We met Andrea Bezzecchi, the symbol of tradition in Italy, the owner of the most enchanted food place I ever been. A must taste, a must have, a must breathe. Heaven for the palate. Taste the history.
This place, as you can imagine, we make vinegar. Okay, it's a logic thing because aceto means vinegar in Italian. Okay, something maybe you already knew, by the way. So Acetaia is the place in which you make the vinegar. The difference between the Acetaia and the acetificio is that the acetificio is something bigger, like a factory. Okay, This is an Acetaia because it's very small. We are 6 plus the owner, so it's a small company. Andrea, the owner, moved here in 2008 in this building. So this building is a farm. It's a traditional structure of the Padanian farm. Okay, so this side was the inhabited side, and that was the productive side. So downstairs there was the hayloft, the stall, and upstairs the hayloft. Okay, stall, hayloft. There was a little chapel right there and a small dairy right there, so it was like the completely independent. Okay, so when Andrea moved here, okay, basically he kept doing what his grandfather started to do. So his grandfather basically started to make balsamic vinegar. It's a familiar production. Okay, it has always been a traditional a production for families. Okay, the product was not sold, but it was gifted or used by the family itself. Okay, it wasn't sold. So the main difference, the two families of the vinegars here are the cooked and the raw products. So the cooked ones are the so-called balsamico. Okay, the raw are like the wine vinegar. We call them raw because we don't start only from wine, but we can start even from beer or from apple cider. Okay, so we call them raw because they are not cooked. Okay, Another logic. So in this case, as you can see, it's a wine vinegar, white wine vinegar. In this case, we purchase the white wine and then we put it into the barrels. Inside the barrel, the acetobacteria, the bacteria of the vinegar, they eat the alcohol and they transform it into acetic acid in 4 or 6 months. Okay, and then you get this. No alcohol here, just acetic acid, and it's not cooked. So what's the difference between a balsamico and a non-balsamico? Is the balsamico is cooked, so there is one more step before the fermentation. So in this case, the alcoholic fermentation occurs at the winery. Okay, in the winery they ferment it because we purchase the wine. Okay, and then we acetify it. So the second fermentation occurs here. In this case, for the balsamico, we start from fresh grape juice. Okay, the grape juice, now it's time for the grape harvest, so we will begin to cook our grape juice very, very soon, okay, like in a few days. So the grape juice is put into the boilers right there, okay, and then inside the boilers we cook it, okay, so we are at 78 Celsius. So the first step of the cooking, we are at higher temperatures, 90, 95. Then we slow down, we decrease the temperature at 78, 79 for 12 hours, okay? During the cooking process, the sugars caramelize, they get dark, okay? And it's a caramelization reaction. And the color turns dark, and then it develops a lot of cooked flavors, okay, of caramel, and cooked sugar and stuff like that, and cooked fruits. After the cooking, so you have from juice to cooked juice, you need to first ferment it. So to get what we call fermented cooked grape juice. Okay, this is fermented, so you have alcohol here.
Okay.
It's Mosto Cotto fermentato. So a kind of a wine. Okay, this is a cooked wine, let's say, because we are at 6-7% of alcohol, so it's still sweet. Okay, we need to stop the first fermentation, the alcoholic one, before it's complete, because we want to keep the sweetness. Otherwise, our balsamico would not be sweet. Okay? Yeah. We want something that is sweet and sour, not only sour. Okay. And then the second one, the key fermentation, is the acetic fermentation. So the one that we saw here. So from sugar to alcohol, and from alcohol to sugar, to acetic acid. The barrel. Everything happens in the barrel. Okay. As you can see, even the color is different. So for the acetified one, it's darker because of the oxidation. Okay. There's more oxidation. Here we are at 1.5 years. Okay? And this is what we call acetified cooked grape must, not even like the acetic base. This is our acetic base, and that is ready to be aged and to become the balsamico that we know. Okay, it's pretty liquid. We are at 26 Brix degrees from 20. Grape juice is at 20. It means 20% of sugar from 26. We cannot concentrate too much the liquid, the starting liquid, because otherwise the bacteria and the yeasts would not work. If you concentrate too much, you have too many sugars inside, the bacteria don't work. Why I'm telling you this? Because even if it looks very artisanal and natural, everything is spontaneous here. We don't use powder, bacteria and yeast. This is an industrial version of the original balsamico that was made centuries ago.
Yeah, 500
we will
years
talk
ago.
about it. So in the 60s, 65, the first laws for the protection of the balsamico di Modena were designed and written, okay, to protect that kind of vinegar. But then, after 40 years, at the beginning of 2000, the producer of the balsamico thought, okay, but wait, today the balsamico is a super big business. A lot of people doing it at home. They thought, fucking hell, okay?
Yeah.
The famous one is not what we were used to do, like the original one, because the original one is made differently. So what do they wrote another balsamico, okay? It's called Aceto Balsamico Trazionale. What does tradizionale mean? So Aceto Balsamico Trazionale, we have 2 DOP, so it's not an IGP, so as I told you, the IGP is more stronger. Do it 2 DOP, one Tradizionale di Reggio Emilia, the hour that we are making here, this one, and the other one of Modena, okay?
Okay.
So 2 different DOPs. So we have 2 DOPs, Tradizionale, and 1 IGP, non-traditional, okay? What's the difference? So first, the ingredients, the raw materials must come from the province. So we can use grapes only from Reggio Emilia, not from Modena or from Parma. And in Modena they can use only from Modena, or not from Reggio, not from Bologna, for example. So, first. Second, the only ingredient that is allowed is the grape juice. Cook it, and that's it. You cannot concentrate in other ways. You cannot add the raw vinegar to give the sourness. You cannot add caramel. It's just grape juice, double fermented. Cook it and double fermented. Third, the aging, minimum aging of 12 years. Even at the end of the 19th century, we have bourgeois people, they asked themselves, how can we make something like this, super aged, that the noble one, but in a cheaper and a quicker way. Basically, we're talking about 1870. They wrote a recipe of the almost balsamico, quasi balsamico, because the balsamico was that one. The quasi balsamico was cooked grape juice, vinegar, and spices. In this Acetaia we make 160 liters of Tradizionale every year, so 1,600 of these bottles. It's a super small production, okay? 160 liters is like a cube of this size. Right? This is the symbol, okay? The symbol of the consortium for the protection of additional balsamic vinegar of Reggio Emilia. Okay, the cork, the wax label, the wax seal on top, okay? Hand tied. On the back we have even every bottle has its single and specific number, 664457. Okay, this is the identification label. Okay, and we write the characteristics, the information of the Acetaia here. Okay, Acetaia San Giacomo, and here the information. Okay, but then every producer of the Tradizionale uses these bottles with this symbol here and the label on the back and the waxing. Okay. So yes, here we have in red we have three categories. Thank you, son. We have three categories. Red, the real name is Aragosta, means lobster label. Silver, don't ask why.
It's so funny.
Then we have silver label. It's aged from 18 to 20 years, and a golden label is more than 25. Even called extra vecchio, means extra old. Okay. The product, before it's bottled, it needs to pass three analyses. The first one is thickness. The second one acidity. They must fall into specific constraints. And the third one is a taste test. So the product is tasted by 5 tasters. So there's a panel of 5 professional tasters. They taste it. It's a blind test. There is a girl who works here and she's a taster, but when we present our product, she can be called. Okay. So at the end, you get the total score for the Aragosta, so 12 years and at least 240 points. For the silver, we are around 18 to 20 years and we are at least at 270 points. And for the golden, more than 325 years. It's a product that has been together with the humans like since the origin.